Well, I got a new glitch for you guys today. There's one that's been discovered, which is we can spawn blood moons whenever we want, which means we can respawn all the enemies in the world whenever we want. So in order to do this, we're going to need a few things. The first thing we're going to need is ideally a bow that has a 5-shot. It's going to make it the easiest and most consistent to do that. So what you'll do in order to do that is you'll get a Lionel bow, and then you'll feed it to rock Octoroks until they eventually upgrade it with a 5-shot burst. You're going to feed them the same one over and over again until it gets 5-shot burst. And then a rock Octoroks, by the way, if you don't know anything about that, you can find it up by Death Mountain. I have some marked right here with gem stamps if you want to go do it. You just throw the item on the ground, they suck it up, spit it out, they upgrade it. Just do it. Each one can do it one time. Just go to each one and just keep feeding it a bow until you get a 5-shot Lionel bow. Then, once you have the Lionel bow, you're also going to want opals, topazes, sapphires, or rubies. And for the spot I like to do, the rubies are actually making it a lot easier. Now, the way people were doing this was on the destructible rocks that you blow with bomb flowers and rock hammers and things. But I found a way to do it on trees, which makes it way better, because then we can go to this spot, the Sonapan Shrine. And that makes it so we can just really quick fast travel here, get a blood moon, reset enemies, and go back to what we're doing. Don't have to go run somewhere. Don't have to go crawl into a cave. We just come here. The shrine is right here. And then we can just go ahead and do it right here. Now, also, we don't actually have to use our rubies and things like that. The rubies, opals, sapphires, whatever. We're going to use them, but we're going to get them back. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the game before we do this. Also, another thing that you're really going to want for this particular spot that I think helps a lot is at least 1 or 2 stamina foods. And again, you'll get these back. You're not actually going to use them. You will, but then you'll get them back. But have 1 of them or 2 of them, depending on how hard you want to go on this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go and spawn a spring from your Zonai devices. If you don't have a spring, you know, you can go up in the sky and find Zonai dispensers that have springs. I don't know where the spring one is offhand, but it's this one, for example. You go to this one in the sky and get springs. Once you have a spring, and again, you get the spring back as well, doesn't matter. So we're right here on the map, Sonapan Shrine, and you can see all these trees. Well, it turns out the destructible rocks are not the only thing that this works with. Those trees that try to kill you will also activate this thing I'm going to show you. And that's what's important here. And also, I'll show you the rocks also after this. Now, to get this one to work, we got to do some fancy stuff with the tree. We got to get really close to him, but not too close. And we got to fire our rubies at him with the 5-shot bow. And then when we take damage, we're going to stop and load the game. Now, something really helpful here, and I should have done before saving, kind of annoying to deal with. Heal up the full, make sure you don't get one shot, or have a fairy in your inventory. Now, you don't have to take the damage. It's just a good way to know when you should load your game. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to hit the spring, and then we're going to glide over the tree. Now, the one we want to hit is this one that you'll see me looking at right here. And when we're about this close to him, we're going to start shooting him with rubies, which will help us identify his health bar and see it through all the lag. We want to hit him directly with the rubies. We want all 5 arrows to hit the tree. After the 3rd shot, we can go for a 4th if we want, just to be safe. But at some point here, we'll take damage from the explosion. There's the damage. Now, as soon as we take that damage in that scenario, doing everything that way, we're going to load our save file we just made. And if things went right, if we did it right, then once we load into this save file, after a moment, the ground should start glowing red, and we should see a blood moon happen. So here comes the save, and then once we load in, you'll see the stuff start coming around the ground like that, and then, bam, there's a blood moon. And that's a real blood moon, by the way. That actual respawn all the enemies. It'll actually reset all the things in the world that are reset by a blood moon. We just duped a blood moon. So this is like the best spot for it. You just got to shoot them at that tree, and you'll it'll work. I mean, I've gotten it to work consistently now on that exact tree. Just get close enough to where after the 3rd or 4th shot, you take damage, and then that's how you know to load the game right then, get the timing right. And also, I've noticed the closer I am to the tree like that, the more likely it is to work. If you try to do it from too far away from the tree, it just doesn't work anymore. So there's like a thing about the closer you are to the explosion, the more it lags your game out, and the more easily you'll be able to do it. But also, you'll be able to see that if I go to my materials and I try to find these gems that I used, I got my gems back. I got my spring back as well. I have 70 springs still. I still have all my stuff, but I just got a blood moon on this save file. I can even save now, and I could do it again, which I'm not going to, but I can. I've done this many times in a row now before doing this. I was testing this for hours. Now, there's also another way you can do this. You can do it on destructible rocks, which is not as good as this spot. This is the best way to do it because all these things respawn. These trees respawn. Destructible rocks, you got to find something you've never destroyed before, which is what makes it really hard. But if you remember earlier, I told you there's a way to do this on rocks as well, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Now, you can go to any cave that you want that has rocks, or anywhere you find a bunch of destructible rocks. But in my particular case, I'm going to go to this one because it has a good wall for it. So there's a cave right here on the map to the west, right near where we were, sort of near where we were. Nearest shrine I know of is this one, the Makaruka Shrine. And you'll just glide down to here and get into this cave. And inside of this cave, you'll be able to find destructible rocks if you've never been here before. And if you've been here and destroyed them all, you'll just have to find another cave with the same concept here. So you're going to go into here, and there are destructible rocks right there on the wall. And for this one, I think you can use any of the gems, but in my case, I'll just use opals because they're the most abundant gem. And we can do the same thing we did before, where we just shoot at the rock wall, and we'll just shoot 3 rounds of arrows at it like this. And I should have saved my game before, because now I didn't save it just now. But you'll be able to see that without saving and loading, it also works. So the game will lag out super bad like that. And I should have loaded the game right there, but I didn't have a save. But if I did be the same thing, we could, here's the blood moon. If we would have saved before and then loaded during the lag, we could have done the same thing as I did with the trees, So it's whichever way. If you want to save load, which is good to keep your gems, or if you don't want to save load, you don't have to. But you can do it either way. But these rocks will also trigger it. Now, these are the only things that have been found so far to work like this. The theory is, and maybe you, the audience, can help with this, it's things that can be killed or destroyed, but when you shoot these gems at them, they don't do damage. So these rocks can be destroyed with bomb flowers. These rocks can be destroyed with rock hammers, but they can't be destroyed with the opals and with the rubies and the sapphires. It's the same thing with the trees. The trees can be destroyed with anything that has cutting damage, but the rubies and the opals and things, they don't destroy the trees. So it's something about that, plus the animation, plus the lag, the combination of all those things coming together somehow causes the game's timer to get messed up and makes it think that an infinite amount of time has passed, and then therefore another blood moon needs to happen. So it's something along those lines. So if you guys can think of more objects like this that can be destroyed by something, but then can't be destroyed by the sapphires and rubies and opals, then just leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to see more objects we can do this with. But so far, right now, the absolute best one is going to be going here, Sonapon Shrine, and then hitting the tree that I showed you with rubies, or probably with opals. I haven't tested it with opals, but, at least with rubies. And then just loading your game once you take the damage at close. Like the easy way to make it consistent and know what's going on. But there you guys go. If you ever wanted to farm an enemy or something, you can just come here and reset them whenever you want, and then go back and kill them, and then come back here and do it again. You can farm the Lionels in the Coliseum now infinitely as fast as you want. You just got to come here and reset them. It takes like 1 minute or something every time. So this is awesome, guys. This is a really freaking cool glitch to abuse, if you like abusing glitches. If you guys can think of any good applications for this, though, let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on some fun ways we could use this to abuse the game even more and have other crazy things happen. But yeah, this is the blood moon, the forced blood moon duplication glitch. Basically, you're basically duplicating blood moons at this point. So there you guys go. Now you know and it works on 1.1.2. This is where we're testing this right now. It's 1.1.2. But yeah, the 1.1.2 blood moon duplication glitch in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.